Greetings, Pokemon fans, and welcome back to JD's Nerdverse. Today we're doing a prediction video for a playthrough of Pokemon Crystal using Misdreavus. Misdreavus is known as the Screech Pokemon. If you look at the screen, the one on the left is how Misdreavus always looks. The one on the right is its shiny. It's one of the better shinies I've seen. It still has pink in it, but that's because of the little pearls around its neck. Let's dive right into this Pokemon. For starters, this Pokemon is a single-stage Ghost type. It does not evolve in Generation 2. It's introduced in Generation 2. It does evolve in future generations into Misdreavus, I think is what it's called. But we will not have to deal with that. We just play through single stage. Don't have to worry about evolutions. We are, like I said, Ghost type, and we are in the fast level up group. There's some advantages of both those things. With Ghost type, you don't get hit by normal moves, and you have a lot of resistances. But there are some downsides. And fast, we'll get levels pretty quickly. But this Pokemon, once you see its moveset, it doesn't matter how fast we get levels. We're still gonna have struggles. But let's go over the stats first. The first three stats: HP, attack, and defense are all 60. Special attack, special defense, and speed are all 85 for a grand total of 435. Honestly, not too bad for a single stage Pokemon. Nothing here is a glaring weakness like it was with Slowking. Slowking had probably the worst speed stat we're ever going to see. So that was a glaring weakness for Slowking, but this does not have a glaring weakness other than maybe its starting moveset. We'll get into that here in a second. Let's scroll down and look at our weaknesses. We're weak to Ghosts, so other Ghost moves, and Dark moves. We're completely immune, can't get hit by normal, fighting, or ground moves. And then the last part is, we're not resistant to ground. Let me rephrase that. This is Generation 2, so we can get hit by Dig and Earthquake and things like that, and we're actually weak to it in Generation 2. And we're resistant to Poison and Bug moves. So yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. We don't have a lot of weaknesses, but we do have some resistances and things like that, so that's pretty good. Now let's dive into the moveset, which is the glaring problem with this Pokemon. So we start off with two moves. Growl, which will lower the opposition's attack stat by a stage, and Psywave. So Growl is useless early because there's not really any Pokemon that can hit us early except for like the Bellsprouts and Bellsprout Tower, a Peck from one of the bird trainers, and I think Poison Sting from Weedle. But nothing else can really hit us. So Growl is really worthless. We're not going to be lowering attack stats because nothing can really hit us other than those things. But by the time we get to those things, we're going to be able to probably one-shot. And then the first move we actually start with is Psywave. Now, Psywave, I don't want to get into details too much about Psywave. I mean, I'll let you read the details if you want. I'm going to put them on screen right now. I'll just open up the link and let you read the details of Generation 2 on Psywave. It's not a great move, but more or less it's unreliable. It's 80% accurate. And what it does, I'll kind of explain a little bit of it. It does between 1 HP and 1.5 times the user's level. So if I'm level 5, it may do a max of like 7 HP or 7 damage. It will do a minimum of 1. That's if it hits. It's 80% accurate. And there's only 15 power points. So that's also a big detriment to it. So early in the game, you either have to decide, you gotta go all in on either one of these strategies. We either have to A, fight a battle, run back to the center and heal. And that's assuming we can get through the battle without running out of power points. We do not have another move, so we can't just fall back to another move to use for attacking until we get Confuse Ray. And that's still a luck-based strategy as well. Or what we got to do is we got to deplete all of our power points and then just use the move Struggle. Struggle is a 50 base power move, 100% accurate. It does do recoil, but it's not really as bad as it is in Generation 1. So you got to go all in on one of those strategies for a good portion of the early game. And honestly, I think the Struggle strategy is probably going to be the best route. It's 50 base power. It's way more powerful than Psywave will ever be. It's 100% accurate. Also, after we beat Falcon, we can double back and get the Pink Bow, making Struggle even that much more powerful. And then eventually we're going to add Swift to the moveset, so that's going to help as well. So I think it's just going to be better to go that strategy. But once we get to level 27, we're going to get a real move, Psybeam, and then pretty much at that point this Pokemon will just open wide up. It'll be extremely powerful, 65 base power, 100% accurate. It is Psychic. It is a huge advantage over a lot of typings in this game. And then not really any other level up moves we're going to get. Pain Split is pretty cool, but I don't see how it's useful in a solo playthrough because this Pokemon's pretty frail as it is. So for what it does, Pain Split, let's say you have 1 health left and then another Pokemon comes out and they have 125 health. So your grand total is 126, and then you'll split that evenly at 63 hit points or something like that. And you both have that. So it knocks his health down to half and knocks your health up to half. It's cool, but then the next turn we're going to get hit and we're already still at a deficit. So there's some cool things about it, but it's not a great thing. I didn't talk about Mean Look or Parasong because really they're not useful in a playthrough. So let's look at the TM moves and see how much more things we have to help us. So Headbutt will be very helpful. We'll add that, 70 base power, 100% accurate. Curse is not allowed, Toxic's not allowed, Zap Cannon we're not going to use, Psych Up not going to use. Hidden Power, I went with Hidden Power Ice. Some of the things we're going to struggle with in this game are going to be like Pokemon that are weak to either Ice type, like dragons and things like that, or we're also going to have a problem with Magnemite from our rival and Magnemite from Jasmine and whatnot. So Hidden Power Ice should be enough power to knock it out because it's special and those Pokemon have weak special. And once we eventually get the Never Melt Ice, that'll help us immensely when it comes to being able to deal out more damage. Snore, Protect, Rain Dance, Endure, Frustration not going to use, Thunder not going to use. Return will eventually get used, probably not till late honestly. I'm not going to add Return because it's probably something I have to remove at one point and then have to add it back on. So I'll stick with Headbutt. It's not much of a difference. I mean, it is much of a difference, but it's with this Pokemon, it's not going to be detrimental to not have Return for a long time. Psychic, 90 base power, 100% accurate. We'll pick that up in the post game. I wish we had it for the Elite Four, but we don't. Shadow Ball is a ghost move, so it is stab, 80 base power, 100% accurate, 120 with stab. However, it does go off of our lower attack stat, not our special attack stat. However, it's still a great move to have. It makes a lot of things pretty much obsolete. Double Team, Swagger, Sleep Talk not going to use, but Swift will be used. It'll be our first real damage dealing move other than Psywave. I don't consider Psywave a great move, so there will be instances where it's useful, but Swift will be a lot more useful for longer. Defense Curl, Dream Eater, don't know why we can get this, but not useful. Rest, Attract, Thief, Nightmare, and Flash. So none of those moves are really useful at the end. Maybe Dream Eater if we had like a sleeping move, because it is Psychic type and it does kind of play in with the type of Pokemon this is. Rest could have a use in the Elite with Red, but I don't see any of those moves really being that useful. Let's scroll down a little bit further and kind of peek into the what would be the optimize options. So first off, there's not a great option for optimization. Screech and Destiny Bond, neither one of those are really useful in a playthrough. Now I do want to go over one other thing here, and that's a tutor move. We can get this right after we beat the Elite Four. Thunderbolt, it's 95 base, 100% accurate. It's basically going to make a lot of things obsolete in the post game. Misty Gym will be obsolete. A couple members of Rock's team will be obsolete. And even when we face Red, a couple things for him will be obsolete too. Even Blue, like we'll knock out 2 of his Pokemon with no problem. Pidgeot and Gyarados will be no problems with Thunderbolt. And then we look into our event moves, it's Hypnosis. Now, Hypnosis to me, if we had Dream Eater start the game or something like that, I'd say, yeah, this is viable. It's a good strategy, but we don't. We just have Hypnosis and Psywave, and this isn't going to help us at all. So I do not think this Pokemon will be an optimized playthrough. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick peek at Generation 3, see if there's a move we can maybe bring back from Generation 3 this Pokemon has. I don't think it's nothing there with the level up move set. TMs, I mean, there are some great TMs, I'm not going to take that away, but I don't think Calm Mind's even in Generation 2. Destiny Bond, no. Imprison, no. No, nothing. There's nothing. So this is a Shadow Rush wouldn't be bad. Shadow Ball would be great, but that's in Pokemon Coliseum. So yeah, I do not think this is going to be a Pokemon we're going to be able to have an optimized playthrough. So let's go ahead and go back to the original slide and we'll kind of give a prediction. So this Pokemon, like I said, is kind of hot garbage. It's not very good, and it will get good at one point. So I'm not want to sit there and say that. But once we get to a point, the game will accelerate pretty quickly. It's pretty much once we get Psybeam. Once we get Psybeam, then we beat Morty's Gym, we have Psybeam and Shadow Ball, and then we have Hidden Power Ice. So there's pretty much something for everything. And the playthrough of this Pokemon will accelerate at that point, but it will be a grind early. It'll be a very big grind early. I do think we can beat the Elite Four in under an hour and 20 minutes, but because the early part, we're probably only be past the first gym under 30 minutes, or second gym under 30 minutes. So I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to be like really bad because we're going to be prepared for everything. Like I said, I don't think this Pokemon's very good, and it's not going to be. If it had like Confusion to start the game, I could have that can be a different discussion. If it had like maybe Pursuit or something, some kind of other move anything other than Psywave, it'd probably be fine. But Psywave is just garbage, and we're not going to have a good time with it. So yeah, I think an hour and 20 minutes with the Elite Four would be conservative, and under an hour and 40 minutes, or just right around an hour and 40, maybe an hour and 45 minutes would be conservative. For Red would be a good prediction. I just don't see how we get through the early game without a whole bunch of struggle strategies, go buy potions, struggle potions, struggle potions, struggle potions, etc., etc. There's a lot of power points. If we didn't have Growl, we could probably do this pretty quick. Psywave you can deplete very fast, and then go through and just use, struggle because Psywave's only 15 power points. You can actually fight a battle and win a battle using those 15 power points, and then go right into struggle strategies. However, with Growl, you have to deplete 40 Growl, and then if we level up and get Spite, we got to deplete another 10. So I just don't see any way to make this faster other than cheating, and removing Growl would be cheating. I'd like to. I really do. But it wouldn't be. I guess maybe in the optimized playthrough, that's what I do, to see if it speeds up the early game. But I don't think it's going to speed it up that much. We're probably going to spend about a minute blowing through our Growls against Pokemon that can't hit us. And I don't see a drastic change in like the outcome of the playthrough with that. So with that being said, that's my prediction. An hour and 20 minutes for the Elite Four. Right around an hour and 45 minutes for Red. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think I should do if I want to do an optimized playthrough? Maybe I do a what-if scenario. I want your suggestions. Go ahead and put them down below. This playthrough will come out on Friday. This playthrough on Wednesday, my series I'm doing where I'm figuring out the best fire types in Pokemon Blue, I'm going to be playing through with Rapidash this Wednesday. So it's a pretty good playthrough. A lot more surprising than I thought it'd be. So make sure you check that out. But this is JD's Nerdverse. Have a good one. And I'll see you guys on Friday.